Hello, YouTubers. I'm Rosie. Today, me and my buddy Jenny Snow, one of my sisters, we are watching Stories of Sodor Industry for season 3. And for anyone who's a fantastic fan, yes, season 7 premiering next week on October the 24th. So get ready for what's details for that season. Since we're only in season 3, it's gonna take 3 more seasons till we get to season 7. But yes, I can confirm in here we will be reacting to season 7 next year. Anyway, enjoy industry.
The train, for its type, is the most powerful vehicle on land. And the engines of Sodor are the power behind the docks, industries and branch lines that make up the world-renowned North Western Railway. These are the stories of Sodor. It's an undeniable fact that the key to a successful economy is a strong industry. I'm proud to say railways have been a critical component in that regard. After all, it was the invention of steam-powered machinery that brought about the Industrial Revolution, and we've remained a vital cog in the process ever since. Transporting raw materials and manufactured goods are the bread and butter of every railway. Some of the larger industries will even have their own dedicated engine. However, I am sorry to say, there is something of a stigma attached to being an industrial engine. Some of the time, such locomotives are those who've retired from regular service, but mostly they're built or bought solely to operate in factories, mines, and so forth. And because they spend either the majority or the entirety of their careers in such a service, they're sometimes not regarded as proper engines. I too am guilty of once having such an ignorant mindset, which will be the focus of today's story. But I'll get to that in a moment. For the time being, I'll talk about Atlas. He's an interesting case. While he was owned by the Mid-Sodor Railway, he was actually leased to the various mines and quarries that operated about the line. That technically made him an industrial engine. This didn't bother most of his colleagues, who valued his hard work. But bear in mind, I did say most, not all. Oh, come along, Atlas. Pick up the pace. Settle down, Andreas. We're working as fast as we can. Really, if this is top speed, I would hate to see what a slow burn looks like. And I would hate to see what you look like when you're not being obnoxious. Oh, wait. No, I wouldn't. Maybe you should try it for once. Maybe you should stop wasting time and get back to work. Try masquerading as a proper engine for a change. Twit, ruffian. Unbelievable. First, Atlas's incompetence holds me up. Then I nearly burst my safety valve trying to make up for lost time. And now the wretched points have jammed, keeping you here, Edward. It's very annoying, no question about it. But what's this about Atlas's incompetence? He lost control of some slate trucks and they spilled all over the line. Were he a proper engine like me, that would never have happened. A proper engine? Do proper engines roll down hillsides with a fully loaded passenger train? That was not my fault. That was sabotage. Then don't assume what happened with Atlas was his fault either. Why are you defending him, Duke? It's not like he ever helps out when there is actual work to do. All he ever does is deliver slate and coal. He is not a multifaceted locomotive like the rest of us. Bust my buffers, Andreas. You sound just like me back when I worked on the Furness Railway. I don't believe that. It's true, Duke. I once had a very negative opinion about industrial engines. What made you change your mind? Well, it's quite the story. Would you like to hear it? Do we have a choice? Since I'm stuck here, no, not really. And this was the story I told. Before I go any further, it's important I correct a mistake I made on a previous occasion. When I last talked about my life on the Furness Railway, I made a slip of the tongue when I said most of the engines who worked on the line were non-faceless, when I meant to say faceless. To clarify, Albert, Winston, and I were the only such engines. There was technically a fourth, but the reason I didn't mention him was because he was a privately owned industrial engine. His name was Samson, and he worked for the High Harrington Steelworks, located on the western side of the line. I had never been out that way prior to 1896, as it was not part of my designated route. That changed when the engine that usually ran the service broke down, and I was called in as a last-minute replacement. I was just pulling out of the nearby town of Sycamore when I first met Samson, and it was quite the encounter. I say, old chap, what were you doing? Sorry about that. The engine that usually works here is always gone by now. Running a bit late, are we? No, as a matter of fact, I'm right on time. Then I wonder what's gone wrong here. No matter. Won't happen again. That's very good to know. Pardon me, I haven't introduced myself. You don't have to. I can read. Of course. Samson here, at your service. At my service, are you? Then would you kindly move aside? You're blocking the line. Certainly. Let me just back up. Can I know your name? Not right now. I have important work to do. It's not exactly as if I'm taking these trucks out for a stroll. You seriously think trucks are as important as coaches? Don't make me laugh. You'd better not let them hear you say that. Too late. I don't have time to debate this. Just make sure you stay out of my way in future. Phew, what a prat. Too right. All right there, Edward? No, Albert, I am in a very bad mood. Problems with your new run? Just one. As I was leaving Sycamore, I almost crashed into this very incompetent engine. What engine? The only other one I know out that way is Samson. That's him. That doesn't sound right. He's always been reliable and takes great pride in his work. Which is where exactly? I've never seen him before. The High Harrington Steelworks. Oh, an industrial engine. That accounts for his carelessness. He's probably the type to get lost easily, too. Someone needs to teach him how to be a proper engine and when to show respect to those who deserve it. I never took you for a snob, Edward. Is it snobbish being the right sort of engine to pull the right sort of train? No, Edward, it is not. Oh, good evening, Mr. Pettigrew. Good evening, engines. I wanted to come by and say well done to you, Edward, on a fine performance today. Thank you, sir. Glad to be of service. Good, because you'll be continuing to run that service until number 19 has been repaired. Albert and Winston, you'll be joining him. Doing what, sir? The steelworks has been contracted by the Sodor and Mainland Railway to produce rails for a new phase in their expansion, and we have been contracted to deliver the material. Albert, you will organize the trains as they are marshaled in Sycamore Yard, and Winston, you will take them on to Barrow. Yes, sir. Sir, will that Samson chap be involved at all? Of course. I heard about your run-in today. I've informed the steelworks and they are going to speak to him. But that doesn't mean you have the right to torment him. Do I make myself clear? Yes, sir. As instructed, I kept my mouth shut around Samson. Indeed, over the next several weeks, he and I only spoke through glaring eyes. In that time, I will admit I was impressed by his work ethic. Without complaint or delay, he brought trucks down from the steelworks to the yard, where Albert assembled them and Winston took them off. Sometimes he too assisted in marshalling trains. I was baffled by how strong he was considering his size, though of course I never told him that. During those same weeks, as the shipments were delivered to Sodor, the expansion of its railway stayed on schedule. However, because they only had a handful of engines, they struggled to balance the expansion and maintaining services. The S&M thus approached Mr. Pettigrew to discuss a rental arrangement. Both myself and another engine were subsequently leased to the Sodor and Mainland Railway. Our jobs were to handle the trains rather than assist with the construction. I truly enjoyed my time on Sodor, where I got to see a narrow gauge railway for the first time. So you're the famous Scarloey. It's such a pleasure to meet you. You've heard about me? Of course. Braving floodwaters to save stranded workmen is not the sort of thing one can keep quiet. Well done, old chap. Thank you very much. There was nothing special about it. I was just doing my job. Such humility. And to think I was actually apprehensive about meeting you. Why? When I heard your line mostly dealt with ballast trains, I thought you were little more than an industrial railway. But now I see you're anything but. Would it offend you if we were? That doesn't matter. You're a proper railway. You deal with passengers and freight. A proper railway? So my actions up at the mine would be less impressive to you if I had never handled a passenger train? Well, you see, excuse me, but I have to go. A proper engine like you has far more important things to do, I'm sure. Bother. You actually said that. No wonder they kicked you back here. Have some sympathy, Albert. I already feel like a fool. Well, if you need something to take your mind off that, I've got a job for you. You do? What sort of job? I need you to run up to the steelworks and pick up some trucks. What's wrong with Samson? He's been held up making a delivery elsewhere. Did he actually get lost? No matter. I'll do it. Wait, really? You sound surprised. I didn't expect you to agree so easily. I mean, you've never handled a goods train before. A train is a train, Albert. There's no difference between them. There's a world of difference between them, Edward. You don't handle a goods train properly, they'll handle you. Very droll, old boy. Watch me handle this one, and you'll see how easy it is. Well, well, look who it is. Mr. Stay Out of My Way. I'm sorry. Do I know you? Oh, wait. I just realized I don't care. I was told to pick up a train. It's over there. That's it? Blimey. It's a big one. What's the matter? Can't handle it? Of course I can. Just you watch. Where can I find a turntable? Around the bend. But listen, I'm told you've never pulled a goods train before, so let me give you some pointers. Pointers? From you? I think not. You're just a truck. You're the ones who get pulled by engines, not the other way around. All right, fine. But if something happens, don't come crying to me. Nothing is going to happen. It should go without saying something would happen. As indicated, I had never pulled a goods train prior to this occasion. It was very heavy, and I struggled to make a start. But soon, I was rolling along and approaching High Harrington Station. Unfortunately, my ignorance regarding proper goods train safety meant I was unaware of the requirement to stop at the top of the hill to give the guard time to pin down the brakes. I just kept going, and sure enough, the weight of the train began to press against me, and I was powerless to stop it. Bust my bumpers! Samson, move! Don't worry, Edward. I'll stop you. I said move! Crikey! Frizzling fireboxes. Are you all right, Edward? Yes. I'm fine. My word. Thank you, Samson. Thank you so very much. No worries. Like I said, at your service. Word of my little runaway got back to Mr. Pettigrew, and he rightly gave me a tongue lashing. Even though I only handled a small number of goods trains after that, I made sure to be extra careful. Samson and I also became friends. Over time, this friendship eroded my preconceptions on industrial engines, and when I next returned to Sodor, I made sure to apologize to Skarloey, and he thankfully forgave me. Well, thank you for sharing that, Edward. Yes, a very quaint story, though I fail to see the point of it. The point is, don't write off an engine just because you're too narrow-minded to see their qualities. He's right, Andreas. I used to think Stewart and Falcon were impertinent scallywags. They are. Yes, but I used to think they were just that. Nothing more. But I've since seen how hard they work. And do you know why that is, Duke? It's because they are proper engines. Huh. What a waste of a good story. I would hardly call it good. I will say it is far less of a ramble than the last one you told me. I appreciate the feedback, even if it is in that corrosive tone of yours. It doesn't sound like you've completely thrown off the attitude of your pre-Sodor days. Now, if you will excuse me, gentlemen, I have squandered enough time here. Good day. And I used to think Gordon was a pompous prat. Some days he's worse than others. This just happens to be one of those days. And I hope a day comes when he realizes Atlas's qualities. It will, Edward. It will. In hindsight, Duke was right. It would be another couple of years, but the day did come when Andreas started to respect Atlas. Unfortunately, the circumstances leading up to that were far from pleasant. But that is a story for another day.